Ois Vav. So the Rebbe explained that in the advantage to the neshama through its descent below, there is two parts. One, that the neshama, similar that the Rebbe said before, by Abal Tshuva, more than a tzaddik, the similar is also when the neshama descends below, it gets to the avodah of a Baal Tshuva, as opposed to before being at the level of a tzaddik. So, what is the advantage to the neshama by coming down in the Yerida Tzorech Aliyah in two parts? One part is that it reveals a strong connection of the neshama, how strongly it's connected to Hashem. So that's for the benefit of the soul, that it has reveals something that it already has. But the second benefit and the more greater benefit is that the neshama gets a level that it didn't even have before. It gets a revelation through its work in this world, or the neshama working with the nefesh hativis, nefesh abahamis. It actually gets the level of bittul, level of Mesiris Nefesh bittul, as the Rebbe discussed earlier. So the Rebbe is saying this is also similar to this is the general Yerida, when the Eibishter created the world through the Tzimtzum, which we're comparing to the Neshama coming down to the world. And over there is a Yerida Tzorech Aliyah. So on one level, the advantage that takes place through the Tzimtzum is that godliness can be also in world. Now we have a world, so that the extent that godliness extends is even in the Tachtoin, in the world, even in the Tzimtzum. But the second level is that really what happens is that there is a whole new light which comes even greater than the oil that was lifnei hatzimtzum. Let's look inside. V'yesh loymar, so we can say shal derech zeh, similar to this that we discussed, the two levels advantages of the aliyah that takes place through the yiridas haneshama. Al derech zehu gam kaviyachol. Similarly, it's also, so to speak, b'hayirida di tzimtzum harishon, the descent of the very first restriction of tzimtzum. Tchilas hayirida shebechlolus hayishtalshlus. That was the beginning of the descent of the uh, evolution in generally as the world evolved, and it started off with first having a tzimtzum. The first tzimtzum, shekavonas hatzimtzum hu b'shvil hagilui. The purpose, the intent of the tzimtzum is for the purpose of revelation. And that actually, from this, it evolved so in all the sense that all the sense are for the purpose of elevation. So the restriction, the Tzimtzum Arishan, was for the purpose of elevation. And there's two parts in the elevation that we're talking about. Sheyesh bazeh dugmas shnei inyonim hanal, that over here exists similar to the two aspects that we discussed earlier, Haneskorim Le'il, that we discussed earlier, Aleph. And now we're going to apply this to the Oir that comes down through the Tzimtzum, through the Shalidei HaTzimtzum Nischadish, what came about, the novelty through the restriction, Shahagilui the Eirin Sof Yiya Gam Ba'ilomis, that the revelation of the Ein Sof, the light of the infinite, should also come into the world. Why was that nischadish? Before there was a tzimtzum, there was no world. Couldn't be a metzias of a world. The tzimtzum allowed for a world, so therefore the Ein Sof can come down even in the world, metzias oilos. So Shayidei had the koidem had tzimtzum kishahoya oir ein sof memali mokem acholol, when the ein sof was filling the place of the hollow where the world existed, the lashon of Eitz Chaim, lahoya mokem, there was no space. Efsher, it was not possible. Liyes mitzias oilmas, there couldn't be the uh, existence, the entity, world could not, there was no world, there was too much light, there couldn't be the word olam. Olam could not be without the tzimtzum. So you need the tzimtzum to create olamus. If there was no tzimtzum, there was no olamus. So b'meila lahoya hagilu ba'olamus. So the gilus was not in the world because there were no world. There couldn't be any world. Validei had tzimtzum nischadish. So through the restriction, what came about, the novelty, so hagilu the Ein Sof yeh ba'olamus, that the revelation of the Ein Sof should be in the world. The hachidush shebe'inyan zeh hu rak legabe ha'olamus. So what is the novelty in this idea that you have the Ein Sof come down in Olamis? That's only a novelty with regards to the worlds. But v'loy legabe ha'oir, that's nothing new. That's not a novelty with regards to the oir. Sharei b'madrega shalifnei atzimtzum hoya oir zeh gam mikoydem begilu. Because in the levels, in the steps that are before the restriction, before the tzimtzum, this light was there before openly. In lifnei atzimtzum, the light was there. The problem was not that there wasn't the light. There's no chiddush in the light. There's no chiddush in the oir. The chiddush is that the oir can come down into the oilamis. The chiddush is that even in the oilamis it comes down. But there is no novelty through the tzimtzum, the yirida tzorech aliyah. The aliyah is not in the oir shalifnei hatzimtzum, and not in the oir because the oir was there all the time. The only thing is after the tzimtzum it can come down also to the oilamis, because before the tzimtzum there can't be oilamis, and now that there's worlds, we can have the oir come down as well to the oilamis, but there is no chiddush in the oir. The oir was there before. The second part is ubeis shal yidei avodas habirurim, that through the work of sorting out, meaning that the fact that there's a tzimtzum and there's an oilamis, and therefore there is worlds, and then you work to sort it out and to get the light in the worlds. There will be a new light, something new, a new light that did not shine before the tzimtzum, something new in the light in the Ein Sof which wasn't there before the tzimtzum. Va'ad, to such an extent is this new Oir Chodesh, shegilu zehu lemailo, that revelation is higher, loy rak mehis pashtus oir, not just from the level where the light expands, which is shebebchinas gilui, which is in the level of gilui. So we're saying that this is a higher level than gilui. No, elogame etzem ha'oir, but this is higher, even the essence of the oir. Ve'ad, to the extent gilui the helem ha'atzmi. I think what he's saying that it's even greater than the gilui of helem ha'atzmi, because the etzem ha'oir and gilui of helem because if we're talking about helem ha'atzmi or etzem ha'oir, or before we talked about the Eir Hanelem, the Eir Atzmi, but we're still talking about a level that was there before. Here, there's a new Hamshacha. There's a higher even level than that. So this is accomplished. When do we get this higher level? Through the Tzimtzum. The Tzimtzum brought about that there's going to be a whole new Oir Chodosh, which wasn't there. All these levels, Etzem Oir, Helam Atzmi, were there before. Creates a whole new level of Gilui, a Gilui which is higher than anything that is before the Tzimtzum. Now, these two Madreges, the Rebbe is going to explain now. These two Madreges is also the Rebbe is going to be in the two periods in the future of Yemei HaMashiach and Olam Haba, in which the first level of that it comes down, it's a Gilu of Helam Atzmi that will come down in Yemei HaMashiach. The second level will come down Le'osid Love, and then even higher than that, as the Rebbe discusses now. And this is also going to bring about the two inyonim that the Rebbe's mentioned earlier from his father, from Tanya, about Maseinu v'Avodeseinu. Let's look inside. Zayin. Hine Yodua Dishnei Inyonim Elu. These two aspects, these two ideas. Hagilui de Oir Ein Sof Sheheir Gam Koidem HaTzimtzum. Number one, revelation of the Oir, the infinite of that was there, shine before the Tzimtzum. V'hagilui. So I made a mistake before. I must correct myself quickly. The Gilui, the Helama Atzmi, we're not saying Shegilui Zehu Lemailo, Loirak Mispesh Gilui, it's higher Elgame Etzem Ha'oir. What means Va'ad Gilui the Helama Atzmi means that you get the Gilui Helama Atzmi. You're not saying that there's something higher. The Lashon reads a little bit, but I see now that I made a mistake. So the Gilui Zeh of what you get, the higher Gilui through the Tzimtzum in the second level, Hulamaila Loirak means Pashtus Ha'oir Shebebechinas Gilui, Elo Gam Me'etzem Ha'oir. Ve'ad, not that this is higher, it becomes the Gilu the Helam Atzmi. Hine, you do the Shnei Yonim Elu. Hagilui the Oirin Sof Sheheir Gam Koidem HaTzimtzum. Whether it's the Gilu of Oirin Sof, which was there shining before the Tzimtzum. Ve'hagilui the Helam HaAtzmi, and the revelation of the Helam HaAtzmi, which is the higher level. Yiyu La'osid Love. This is going to be in the future to come. But rather than there will be two periods. It will be one period which is going to be the Gilui of Erin Sof from Lifnei HaTzimtzum. The second period is going to be the Gilui of Helam HaAtzmi. And they're going to come down in two separate periods. This explains the different Medrashim with regards to Los Love. The Amru, in one place it says, in the Gemara in Baba Basra, it says that Hashem will make a feast for the tzaddikim. So that's one saying of our sage. It means that there will be food, there will be a feast. But then there's the Amru, weiter in the Gemara Brachas. The Gemara says that there is Olam Haba, Ein Bo Lo Achila V'Lo Ishtiya. That in Olam Haba there is no eating and no drinking. B'Yedua Habiur, the Beis Maimorim Elu, and it's known the explanation of these two seemingly contradictory statements. Is there going to be food or not? Lost Lovei. So how do we explain these two amorim? Hem b'negeya lizmanim shonim. We're talking about in different periods, different time periods. B'tchila yeh hagilu the tainug hamurgash. In the beginning, there will be a revelation of a felt delight, which is su'uda. It's a meal that you can feel. That would be the revelation of the Ein Sof that will shine before Lifnei Tzimtzum. And then afterwards, the tainig habilti murgash. And then will be the revelation of the delight that is not felt. V'ad, which there's no food, it's not a felt one. To the extent, what kind of a gilu is going to be? Gilu helam atzmi. The helam atzmi will be revealed. Ubechlolus, and in a general way. So these two periods that we're talking about, the gilui of what was there before and the gilu elam ha'atzmi, that's the difference between the days of Mashiach and then the resurrection of the dead. That's the second period. First is going to be the time of Yemesa Mashiach, in which there's going to be the Suda, where is going to be a Tainug HaMurgash, and by Tchiyas HaMeisim is going to be the Tainug HaBilta Murgash, the Gilu Helamatz. The Amr Azal, for our sages, says, the Kol HaNeviim Kulam Loi Nisnabu Elali Yemesa Mashiach, that all prophecies, they all did not prophesy, but they only talked about the days of Mashiach. All the great things and that are going to happen, they were prophesying in the beginning, in the days of Mashiach. But in the world to come, which is now referencing the time of Tchiyas HaMeisim, is Ayin Loiraso Elokim Zulasecha. No eye has seen this. I mean, the Nevi'im couldn't see that. They did not prophesize about it because nobody knows it. Besides Hashem, Loiraso Elokim Zulasecha, besides you, Hashem, nobody has seen that. So they couldn't prophesize about Yemais, about the Tchiyas HaMeisim. So V'yesh Loimar, so the Rebbe says, so these statement goes along with what we said before, the two different periods about the Tainug HaBilti Murgash and the Tainug HaMurgash. Yesh Leimar Shebimois HaMashiach Yiyah HaGilui Da'erin Sof Sheher Begilu Gam Koidem HaTzimtzum. And Yimois HaMashiach will be the revelation of the Eirin Sof, which shined openly even before the Tzimtzum. U'ba'olam haba b'tchiyas hamesim, but Elam haba, it says Leirasa Likim Zulasacha, that's the Tchiyas hamesim, Yeh Hagilui the Bechinas Eden. So over there will be the revelation of the level of Eden. All of Nemar, it's about the level of Eden. Ayin Leirasa. Over there we say nobody has seen Helam Ha'atzmi. This is the essence of Helam. The Helam Be'etzem, which means it's not a Gilui and no Navi was able to see that. That's going to be Nizgala, the Helam Ha'atzmi. That's going to be the way it's going to come the two periods. The Rebbe says that we're mamshich through the Tzimtzum, the two levels. And the Rebbe says the way it manifests itself, in the Yemesa Mashiach, we get the level of the oil that was there before, that it should be revealed, but it was there before too. And in Olam Haba, over there is a Gilu Helam Ha'atzmi, was Leirasa Likim Zulasecha, that is not revealed at all. And that's a new Kiddush that is going to be, it wasn't revealed, it's going to be revealed for the first time. And this is the two accomplishments that come from the Riyas Ha'olam, and that's the two periods in which it's accomplished. And now the Rebbe ties this to the two languages brought down before from the Tanya and the Rebbe's father, that the Rebbe wrote in the Order, that these two periods are associated to the languages of Masenu v'Avedesenu. Masenu, we said, is the Aveda, which is Apitava from the Nefesh Elikis, and Avedesenu is the Tava, which is higher than Tava, even from the Nefesh Elikis. The Masenu brings us to Yemei Mashiach, and Avedesenu brings us to the time of Tchis HaMesim, the Giluyim of the time. That in go into detail, Hagilui di Yemei Mashiach, the revelation of the days of Mashiach Tolu b'Masenu, that is up to Masenu. V'Hagilui di Tchis HaMesim, and the revelation of Tchis HaMesim Tolu b'Avedesenu, that hinges on our, that's labor, that's already Yigia beyond. And because we tie the reward to the work we put into it, because kikivon shehagoyrem schara mitzvah yehi ha-mitzvah atzmo. Since what brings about the reward of the mitzvah is the mitzvah itself, schar mitzvah mitzvah, which means that the mitzvah itself brings about, as brought down from the Tanya, is the mitzvah itself. So Hare ha-mitzvah ha-avodah, so therefore the mitzvah, or the what kind of a service are we talking about? Tzricha liyos me'ein haschar. It needs to be similar to the word ha-hamshocha shenasis al yoda. That hamshocha, what extends, that took place through the work you put in. So v'lochein, and therefore hamshochas hagilui de'erein sof sheheir gam mikoidem. How do we bring down? We extend the revelation of the Ein Sof that was shining also before Nasis. That takes place through what? Al yidei hayigia legalis hateva de haneshama shoyagam mikoidem. That is through the effort to reveal the nature of the neshama that was there before, to overcome the obstacles, the blockages of the guf, the nefesh habahamis, the teva, nefesh hativis, to reveal that level of the neshama. But that was there before. That was ma'asenu. That was there before, not something new, but to reveal what's already there. The gilui of the neshama, and therefore that brings down the gilu in the world of a Ein Sof that was there lifnei tzimtzum. V'hamshochas hagilu the helam ha'atzmi, but to bring down the revelation of the helam ha'atzmi that was in, that was never there. This is an er chodosh. This is a new light. Nasis al yidei hayigia shalamaylam ha'teva. That becomes through the effort which is of nature. Gam the nefesh halikis, also of the nefesh halikis nature, by working harder and also beyond the nefesh halikis, then you bring down the gilui of helam ha'atzva. They said nase itzlo inyan chodosh shelo gam mitzad neshmosei. That way, there's something new that wasn't there even from his neshama's perspectives, because this is a gilui oir. So therefore, which is Avedesenu. That's why he's mamshich the oir, which is even lifnei hatzimtzum wasn't there. He's mamshich the helam ha'atzmi, that it should come down the gil. So now we circle back to the beginning of the Maimer. Oistes, that the meaning of Oya Ekev Tishmon, that for sure we will do Teshuvah and reach the level. V'zehu v'hoya Ekev Tishmon goimer Tishmon vadai. And this is what we say, since you will listen. We're not saying im Tishmon, but we say because you will listen. Tishmon vadai, which means that this matter is certain that you will listen. Shedover vadai hu shetushlam hakavona de nisava kodesh baruch hu. Liyas lo yizborech dira b'tachtonim. This is something which is for sure that the intent of the Eibishter that he wants that there should be a dira b'tachtonim, that will be accomplished. So it's not a matter of im, because in the end of the day, we will fulfill the intention. And it will be b'shnei inyonim hanal. The Eibishter will have his dira b'tachtonim both in the gilui of the oir of lifnei tzimtzum, also the gilui of helam atzmi. Hein hagilu the oir in sof sheheir gam koidem atzimtzum. Both the gilui of the Ein Sof that was there before the Tzimtzum HaGilui, the Moshe Mashiach, which is the revelation of the times of Mashiach. The Hein HaGilui, the Helam HaAtzmi, and also the revelation of Helam HaAtzmi, HaGilui, the Tchias HaMeisa, the revelation of Tchias HaMeisa. V'agam shegiluyim elu tluyim b'maseinu. So how will we guaranteed we're going to have, it says Tishma V'adai, that we will have the Kavanah will be fulfilled. But don't Yidden have a choice whether they want to do or not do? I mean, if they want to do, V'agam shegiluyim elu tluyim b'maseinu v'avedesenu. It hinges on our maisim and our avoid in both levels, but it's what Varishus Nesuna L'chol Odom. And there is right, every person has the right, if he wants to choose the right thing or the wrong thing, he's been given the opportunity to choose Nesuna. And therefore, how do we say for sure that the Dira B'Tachtonim will be accomplished? For this we have been promised. Shelo yidach mimenu nidach. The pasuk says nobody will be pushed away permanently, would not be pushed away. B'kol echad ve'echad miYisrael, and each and every one of the Yidden yashlim esakavone b'maasenu, will fulfill the intent both in maasenu. Maasenu, that's the level of hayigia, the Torah of mitzvahs, yoser mahateva, the nefesh habahamis, to effort in Torah mitzvahs more than the nature of the animal soul. That's the level of Masenu. V'gam ba'avoidasenu, and also in the level of Avoidasenu, ha'igia b'Torah mitzvahs yoser gam ne'ateva the nefesh halikis. Also in the Teva nefesh halikis, that you'll do more than that. You'll also be Avoidasenu. So we've been promised to that. So it's not a question of if, even though it's totally in our bechira, but we know that that is what we're going to choose. That in the end, Soif Golusam, as the Rebbe quotes it from the Tanya, is Lo Yidach Menu Nidach. V'zehu v'hoya ekev tishmon. And this is the meaning now. It says ekev tishmon. The ekev koi, the ekev means the heel. That the ekev goes, Kinala said before, al ikvus of the Mashiach, on the heels of the Mashiach. Kinoisaf, in addition, at the heels of Mashiach, meaning the time of Ikvus of the Mashiach, it's also the labor that we do in the times when there is such a deep golus. In addition, that is when the promise Ekev Tishmon, that you will definitely listen, that is by the Ekev. Shleimus. So the real, the whole, the complete Avodah needs the level of Ikvisa, needs the level of Shleimus Avodah. When is there the complete level of our Avodah, the labor service? Hoisofis Inyan Chodesh, Gamle Gabe Nefesh Elekis, to add something new, even with regard to the Nefesh Elekis. Who be Iker, it's mainly al yidei habirur the choshech hagolus. That's mainly by sorting out the darkness of the exile, ubefrata choshech the ikvasa the Mashiach, especially the darkness of the hill of Mashiach. That is when our avoida, which we have to bring more than the Nefesh Elokis has on its own, a level of Chiddush. It's mainly through the bitter Choshev HaGolus, as the Rebbe said earlier, because that, as a reward for the Chiddush, for being Mavar, the Choshev HaGolus, for being Mavar, Nefesh Bahamis, the Nefesh Elokis also gets rewarded with this higher level of Gilui. And that means that's why Ikvus of the Mashiach is not just the time of Mashiach, but it means in the heels, in the golus, in the uh, darkness of the Ikvus of the Mashiach, which is necessary to get the full benefit of Avodah because that is to get a Chiddush in the Nefesh HaLikis, and that is when you have to work and struggle with the Ikvus of the Mashiach, with the Choshech, which brings about the change of the darkness, which brings about the higher level of Gilui. And that's why it's Ekev. It's at the heels of Mashiach, and it's the struggles of Mashiach. ובפרט לפי מה שכוסו הצמח צדק, especially according to what the צמח צדק writes, שבהויה עקב, בהויה עקב הוא עניין ויודעי או חזס בעקב איסוף, that his hand holds on, as we say, by Yaakov when he's born, while Esav was born first, but Yaakov's hand was holding on to the heel of Esav, Umefarish, and the Tzemach Tzedek explains over there, the Pirush Harishan in the first Pirush, the Koyi al Ekev the Esav Mamish, that it means holding on to the heel of Esav Mamish, so which means within Golus, connected and holding on to the Esav, this is a low level. V'gam betzadikim, so that is ikvus, those who have to struggle. But also tzadikim shechoshech hagolus eine machshich legabam kolkach, in which the darkness of the golus does not darken to them so as much. Umekol shekain, and for sure they don't have the ace of sheimbam avoda the hafichas doinas lezochios. They don't have the avodah of turning the sins into merits, which we learned before is the level of a Baal Teshuvah. So almost seems they don't have the Akev Esav, they don't have this higher level of a Baal Teshuvah. V'gam ho'ilu shenase al yidei birur v'zichuch nefesh habahamis. And also that advantage that takes place by sorting out and refining the animal soul isn't so strong by the tzaddikim because they don't have to fight so much. Because their animal soul it is not so materialistic even before the service. How do they get this level? That through the ikvasa, through the struggles, through Chezes Bakiv Esav, they don't have that struggle so much. But Harei al yidei hanisyonis, through the challenges, the tests, ubifrat al yidei hamesiras nefesh bepoil mamish. So when there is test, and through the mesiras nefesh, in actuality, as the Rebbe brought out before, his father gave up his life actually, and that's the physical. So as long as it was just a desire, it was just an neshama, they didn't have that level so much because by them, they don't have to fight so much. But when they come to actual Mesiras Nefesh, Mizbarim, Netzutzis Gam, Shebegimul Klippus Atmeis Canal, also the sparks that are in Gimel Klippus Atmeis, as we said before, the Rebbe said that those people who were menagdim to the Rebbe and they incarcerated him and they forced him, they want to force you against your will, they get sorted out through that. So that means that through the Mesiras Nefesh B'Poil, all this is accomplished. And the Rebbe says, concludes that Achrei shebekama v'kama tzadikim ho'yogam ho'ilui the birur ha'netzutze shebegimel klippus atmeyes al yidei ha'mesiras nefesh olahem. So after, but you're going to say, what about these tzaddikim that didn't go through what the Rebbe's father went through? They didn't have the mesiras nefesh bepoil, so they didn't have these level of being mevared in itzutzes so much. But since that by many, many tzaddikim was the iluy of bitter and itzutzes of gimel klipsat meiz through their mesiras nefesh, such as Rebbe's father, that advantage extends also to their sons. And of course, the Rebbe has a physical son, but the Rebbe says to all the Hasidim, God will keep for you. That's what He promised to your fathers. He will keep to you, which means the madrege that the father earned through their mesiras nefesh, God Hashem keeps it for the children. Koilel, that would also include gam bonim, also sons, which we say Elu Talmidim. Shnanten Vanecho is La Talmidim, that the Talmidim are called the sons, so they too have the level of the father, that mesiras nefesh that he gained. The Eibishter keeps it for them. Lavesecha shalom du teirosom. They learned their teachings. Shalochein, learning the teachings. In this case, learning the teachings of the Rebbe's father. So the Rebbe as a physical son and all the students that are learning the Torah. So we don't need to get to this level through these nisyonis. For sure, we don't need literally mesiras nefesh. All we need to is give over our nefesh, means the life soul, but nefesh can also mean your will. We are having mesiras nefesh. We don't need it literally, but just to give over our rotzin. And by them, and by all the Bnei Yisrael, the students, the followers, all the Yidden, Masenu v'Avodesenu, should have both, but mitoch menucha v'archova kipshutim v'amitim, through comfort, through wide, literally plentifulness and true, without needing any challenges, any difficulty. B'simcha v'tuv levov, with joy and gladness of heart. B'yikuyum hayud, and the promise will be fulfilled. V'kitzu v'ranenu shoichnei offer, and those who rest in the dust will get up and sing. Ubal ha'hilula b'seicham, and the ones whose yahrzeit is amongst them. V'neilach kulonu meheiro k'nemius l'artzenu, and all of us will go very soon up right to our land. V'biyas Mashiach tzidkenu, with the coming of the righteous Mashiach, Bagola Didan Mamish, very soon Mamish.